How do I achieve awareness? This is the question of the day and of the week and of the year and of the decade and of the century. Essentially, the core message of every single spiritual teacher that's ever existed, all the way back to Jesus, is this message of um, becoming aware. That is the journey of the soul, of all of our souls. It's essentially to um, deal with the external, whatever the external world sends us, and use it to increase our awareness until we're at the point where we are simply resting in that peaceful, joyful state of pure awareness. Of course, there are many different nuances around this messaging and approaches from the various spiritual teachers, but that is the essentially the core message of every single one. But I think that for the average person, this awareness seems kind of like something that they're reaching for that's right there, right in front of them, but just there's like a transparent wall there. They're just so close, but you can't quite reach it. And it feels like that last inch is something that's like impossible. It's like it takes a reprogramming of our whole DNA or something like that, just for that last inch, just because we're so close. And this is people who have been reading about spiritual things for decades, and they understand it on an intellectual level. But actually doing it is just like that last little piece is so hard. And it's like, how do you do it? I mean, very few of this contemporary spiritual teachers really explain how to. They just say you need to do it, and they say that these things will happen to make you more aware. But how does it actually happen? What does the process look like? For myself, obviously, I'm not saying I'm there already. I'm not an enlightened being by any means, um, but I've actually been able to become more and more aware, um, simply through the breath. And I know that's the most like fundamental, basic, obvious, cliched uh, approach there is, but I think there's a reason why it's the most fundamental, obvious, cliched approach. And I think there's a reason why meditation is something that's been practiced for thousands of years. And I think there's a reason why the universe built the human body to do this automatic motion of intake and outtake that happens without us being aware of it all day, every day, as we sleep. The breath. And I'm not saying that this is something that requires actual meditation, because I do understand that for most people, or for maybe not most, but a lot of people in today's world, actually sitting down to meditate is something that requires um, too demanding amount of patience and time. Uh, but there are various ways to meditate in our daily life as we go about our daily activities. And again, it just comes down to the breath. Becoming aware comes down to being aware that you are breathing, that there's breath coming in and breath going out. And it's really as simple as that. And as you practice that more and more, and you consciously make that effort to become aware of your breath more and more, the act of becoming aware becomes more and more natural until you get to that point where you are most of the time resting in that state of awareness, even during the most trying times when you're in these situations that are triggering you or triggering narratives. Now, I'm not there yet. I get into situations that trigger certain narratives in me, and I am definitely get sucked into like the vortex of thought, of past behaviors, of past feelings. But what I'm saying is that the way there is simply through the breath, becoming aware of your breathing. Obviously, there are other methods to take, but this, for me, and this is what I think is the most fundamental way to do it.